What's up, guys? This is Aaron, host of the Prayin and Slayin Podcast and producer at the Prayin and Slayin Podcast Network. And today we have a special co-hosted episode that's going to be launched on both the Prayin and Slayin Podcast and the Hunting the Frontlines Podcast with our host, Justin Wilson. Him and I are going to be going over what's new for 2026, get into all the awesome stuff that they're doing at Hunting the Frontlines, get into some cool stuff we're doing at Prayin and Slayin, and just have a good time talking to each other to kick off the new year. So with that, guys, I will let Justin take over to kick off the intro, and we hope you guys enjoy this co-hosted episode.
Welcome back, everybody, to Hunting the Frontlines Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Wilson, and today I have a very special guest, the man, the myth, the legend, Ranger Red of all Ranger Reds, Mr. Aaron Stonehocker. I've had Aaron on before. He runs the Prayin and Slayin Podcast. He runs the network Light the Fire Outdoors that I'm under for my podcast. He's an Air Force vet, which we're not going to hold that against him. You know, he made a mistake. He understands that he gets it. He's also the only man that I know of that's sponsored by White Claw. But, great guy, Air Force vet, does a lot for the veteran community, and kind of like myself, hunted quite a few different locations. So we're going to come on today and do a little collaboration between us for both podcasts. We're going to talk about, all the new stuff that's happening in 2026 for the Prayin and Slayin Podcast and Hunting the Frontlines. I've got some exciting news about a new segment I'm going to be doing this year, and just some other stuff we're going to get into. So, like I always say, get your popcorn, get you a drink, and let's do it. So what is new for 2026 for you?
Nothing. All right, podcast over. See ya.
Gotta go.
Yep, bye.
Oh, here's the wife yelling. Gotta go. Sorry.
Yep. Hell yeah, dude. Now, kick off to 2026, man. So, Hunting the Frontlines. This is your launch episode. I did a solo launch episode for Prayin and Slayin. And this is in conjunction to it because, yeah, we got a ton of cool stuff with the Prayin and Slayin Network. Obviously, as of right now, it's Prayin and Slayin Podcast, Hunting the Frontlines Podcast. And the new to this year, to answer your question, is Operation Hunt is going solo. We're going to split that off and make it its own veteran specific podcast. It's just like Prayin and Slayin, except we talk to veterans about their military service, their military career, anything they want to share about their life, make people better, and then I'll, of course, hear awesome hunting stories from veterans. So, yeah, man, I mean, to kick off what we've got going on, that's really the biggest change in the podcast network scene is Operation Hunt going live. But you crushed it. I mean, you've done 6 months now where the podcast going on month 7, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about your journey, dude. So it went from like beginning of the year, we started probably having these conversations. I don't remember exactly when it all first came to, like, you were like, hey, dude, I've been listening to your podcast. I like the idea. And as far back as I can remember, and we might have talked about this on one of your first episodes, is like getting to know you personally over the years, different areas that we've worked together. Like, I remember you and I having conversations, and I've always, like, it sat close to my heart, I guess, you talking about wanting to help find some way to give back to your fellow veteran community.
Yes.
And whether that, you talked about maybe hosting like meetings back in Montana, like maybe you could set up some sort of veterans meetup group and just, hey, let's get people in a room, let's drink some coffee together, and let's have conversations about whatever the hell we want to talk about, or whatever. And I knew that was something that was close to your heart. And then I love how this is kind of, I'm not going to say this is it, because that's your calling. That's not mine to say, but then all of a sudden you're like, hey, dude, like, the nudging on your heart was like, hey, I think I should start a podcast, and here's some ideas I have. And I'm like, dude, that's sick. Let's, what about these ideas? And just two minds coming together around a common purpose, dude. And all of a sudden Hunting the Frontlines was here, and you're 6 months in, I think 7 episodes deep, and people are loving it. Like I was telling you the other day, now new for the listeners, dude, like, what, good or bad, I don't know, but like Hunting the Frontlines, I get like notifications all the time for, hey, you have a new follower, hey, you have a new follower, hey, you have a new follower. And I'm like, I hope people are listening to Prayin and Slayin too, like, totally kidding, but it's awesome, dude. Like, there's people that are just drawn to it, and I think the guests you've had on have been killer. You've had how many branches of service have you had on? Is it 2 or 3?
Let's see. I've I've had you on. I've had Jeremy
Air
on.
Force. Air Force.
Yep, 2 Air Force. I've had 2 Army. I don't think I've had anybody in
One
the
of
Marine
them,
Corps yet.
I was just thinking, I thought one of the last guys might have been Marine, but maybe it's all Army.
Let me look here real quick because I thought I had more. I thought I had just about one from every one except for maybe I don't think I had anybody from the Navy yet. Oh no, I did too. Well, no, I had to reschedule Eric.
Eric, that was the Navy one. Okay, yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
Navy in my head too. But yeah,
So I
so you
had
gotta.
Army, Air Force, 2 Army and 2 Air Force.
Okay, yeah, and
Or
you've done
what?
multiple episodes with a handful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's awesome, dude. And I mean, really, the only two branches that matter, if we're being honest.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure.
you have to throw it out there. You have to get it in. No, that's killer, dude. And yeah, I mean, I guess talk about your journey, man. Like, what's it been like doing the podcast? Like, how's it? Like, I don't know.
It's
Like, how do you feel about what you're doing? Like, we don't really ever dive into this whenever we get a chance to talk.
dude, I will say it's been crazy, and so you know how much I love to hunt. I'm out there every day. If I can get out there, I'm going. And I didn't want to do anything that's going to take me away from that because that's to me, hunting's not just a sport; it's a passion for me. I love it. It's what keeps me grounded. Like I told you on your episode, that because that's where I got my feet wet doing the podcast was doing your episode for Goalpost. That's what kind of got me. I was like, man, I really enjoyed it. That was a lot of fun. I want to do more of these. And I told my wife, I was like, this is something I could do in my hunting room. Just go in there, set up a laptop, do a podcast. As I even do solo podcasts, man. Whatever. But I want to do it somehow for veterans to help out somehow. It doesn't have to be where, I'm saving a veteran's life or any of that stuff right now. I'd like to get to the point where I can, change somebody's life eventually. But I told her, I said, if I can just make it easier, I said, because me, 2 years ago, I hunted 4 or 5 different states, and 75 to 80% of that hunting was on military bases. And what I noticed is every base and every state had different laws and different rules and regulations. So I'm on the phone calling all these different places to get all the information. I thought, why can't I just put this in one centralized location for people to find? So, hey, Mr. Aaron here, let's work on some stuff here. I got some ideas. How can I make this come to fruition?
Yeah.
And then I was nervous the first 2 or 3 episodes and stuff. I didn't know how I was going to handle it. I've had all great guests. I mean, amazing guests on. The conversations have flowed easily. And kind of like I told you, I thought it would be pretty easy to talk to people because we're all hunters. We all have an extreme passion for this. So it's easy talking about it. Plus, we're all veterans. We all connect to each other. So it's been simple. It's been real simple doing it. And, I'm going to do the same thing this year I did last year. I'm going to do as many of these as I can in a certain amount of time to kind of carry myself over through hunting season. So I'm not taking time away from the woods. And I'm going to try to do some live. That's my overall goal is to do them. Like, I go to these hunting camps, like with Jeremy and all his friends and, buddies of mine, we all go to hunting camp and stuff. I'm going to take all my stuff there and start doing episodes there. So, I mean, it's been an amazing journey. My biggest fear was people wouldn't listen to it. It really made me feel good the day that you emailed me and said, hey, somebody asked a question about one of your podcasts. What? Cool.
Yeah, man.
I went over and checked it out. I was like, all right, well, I've never hunted there, but I know he has. I'll just go back to the past guest. We'll bring him back on and do another episode. We'll do an update. So it's really, I mean, people around town, but hey, man, I checked out your latest episode is really good. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And then I'm getting questions like me you talked about. Hey, when are you going to come out with some hats and T-shirts? Yeah, I don't know. I'm still nervous about that.
Don't be nervous, dude. It's you broke the ice, and that's I was talking to the owner of Dead Nuts today,
Yeah.
and just bouncing some business stuff off each other and getting ready for the next phase of our partnership and things like that with the network and Light Fire Outdoors and all this stuff. Anyway, he's coming out with a T-shirt design, and I can freely say it on these podcasts. I feel like it's that's just QBAP on it. Any idea what that stands for?
No.
Basically, quit being a kitty cat is what it's going to be. So I'm gonna say kitty cat to keep it PG on
I
here,
know
but that's what
exactly
it's
what you're
for.
getting at.
So
I
he's
love it.
but anyway, the whole point of it is like, I think risk scares everybody. That's just it's built into our nature. It's how we survive, as a species and everything else. Obviously, you need to have a little bit of fear and a healthy fear of risk. Um, but man, like just like here, like the biggest thing I remember you talking about when we were talking about we had several conversations about the group that you might want to have started, right?
Hmm.
Back in Montana. And the biggest thing that or maybe you moved to Indiana, I don't remember. Anyway, the thing that you were most afraid of was like, are people going to show up? What are we going to talk about? Like all those little voices start popping up in your head of like, hey, I have this
Yeah.
really cool idea. I feel really passionate about it. I want to tackle it. But, and all of a sudden you start backing up, right? And then you just never
Yes.
take that step. Um, and I love that you've taken the leap. I love that you did it regardless of your fear. And then like you know, are people going to listen or not? I think that's everybody's fear when they start a podcast. And to be honest, I think you've got more listeners than the Prayin and Slayin podcast does, and we've been
Oh,
doing
whatever.
it, a couple years longer. So it's no, I'm kidding,
Whatever.
but kidding, we're crushing you. But either way, no, but in all seriousness, man, like I think that's a huge part of just life in general is
Yeah.
if you feel called to do something, just figure out a way to take that first step and just do it. Like the thing that you'll hold back on every single time is if you hesitate at the first step, you don't have to get the 30 years down the road. And even you're in my conversations at first, right? Like I mean, you've got more ideas. You've probably filled up a few notebooks worth of ideas that you've got for your podcast and what it could turn into, or different episode types, or maybe new podcast ideas or whatever. And exactly right there, for those just listening, he held up his notebook. But I'm like, dude, like all you got to do is just take step one and record, but like keep it simple, stupid up front.
Yep.
Take that simple, stupid step and let it snowball. And like, for me with Light the Fire Outdoors, your mission you just said was rooted in like I want to help out veterans somehow. Like
Yes.
point blank period. I feel called to give back to this community that, gave to me in some way. And that was, backing all the way up. I don't know if you and I have ever even had this conversation, but like it was exactly where I was once upon a time. Hell, over a decade ago. I was 21, I think 22,
Hmm.
in community college, and I had a roommate who same thing. Him and I were just having conversations, kind of like you and I first started, and I was bouncing these ideas off him. He's totally like outside the realm of any of this stuff. He's like, why haven't you started, man? Like you need to do this. Like I think you need to do it. So the next day, I took my notebook. I had a notebook. I went to class, sitting there like not listening to anything that dude up front is saying. I'm just sitting there literally, and I wrote down in the name out of nowhere hit me Light the Fire Outdoors. That was where Light the Fire Outdoors was born, was in, a lecture hall at community
Yep.
college. I wrote that name down. It just came out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay, like, what do I want to spark here? And I was like, I want to, it's same exact thought. Like, I want to help out veterans somehow. I want to, like, obviously I'm in school for getting a conservation degree, basically to be a park
Hmm.
ranger. I knew that was the career path I wanted to go down. So I want to help out veterans. I want to help out conservation. And maybe at the time it was like, you were starting to see all these like, in the outdoors industry, you were starting to see way more than was about getting youth outdoors.
Oh
Now
yeah.
you're seeing like, I don't know, I'm going to say dozens, but it's probably hundreds of organizations that are all about getting veterans out because of the whole
Yes.
war on terror and everything else. And it's kind of coming to a close. So now we're having this influx of, not actively involved vets and things like that. So anyway, it's shifted a lot more to the veteran side. But at the time, it was all about kids. Everybody was about getting kids in the outdoors. So I'm
Yep.
like, veterans conservation and the light the fire piece was more about like, for me, this was always a part, like my faith was tied to this. And so that's kind of where a lot of that came for me, was something that I could take that faith energy and pour it into something. And then, for
Yep.
other people, like hopefully they find a piece of that in this and like start a fire in them to, do something bigger than themselves, basically. But anyway, I love that that's kind of where your heart was, because that's exactly where this whole thing start was. And now we're merging our ideas together and smashing brains and saying, okay, dude, like, what's next? And you're here. You did it. You got listeners. You get new followers like literally every single day. There's notifications, ping, ping, ping on
Yep.
Facebook, like new follower hunting the front lines, new follower hunting the front lines. And I think that's a testament. You said it too, man, to the veteran community. Like that's the coolest part about, and that's what I
Yes.
found for me, like on the praying and slaying side, like I had the series that I started this year. So it was, Prayin and Slayin Podcast. Let's do, Operation Hunt. I knew that one was going to be dedicated to vets. Operation Conservation, which I think is just going to be an evergreen piece of the Prayin and Slayin
Good.
podcast, and probably not give it its own name now, just learning what I've learned. Um, but the conservation, I can always bring those guests on at any time on the Prayin and Slayin side. The Operation Hunt episodes, 100% of the time have been, and actually they've kind of trained me on the Prayin and Slayin episodes. Like the ease of conversation is mind blowing, and it's part of that veteran community. It doesn't matter if you've just gone through basic training and that was the extent of your career, or dudes that have served a full 20 and seen war and good and bad and ugly and everything in between, or guys that have served 6 years, or it doesn't matter, man. Like we're all part of that same community. We
Hmm.
all There's just something that clicks. And like like you've obviously done it for 20 years, but like there's people you meet in the military that you're like, fudge that guy. Like honest, like,
Oh yeah.
again, keeping it PG, but like, dude, like if you weren't wearing the same uniform I'm wearing right now, like there's zero chance that we ever communicate, ever talk. Like I don't like you, whatever.
Yep.
But at the exact same fold, you would pick that guy out of I don't know, go to your favorite concert and you'd pick that guy out of a crowd, and you guys would be able to pick up a conversation more than anybody else in that entire room out of the tens of
Oh yeah.
thousands of people that are there. And it's
Yep.
just there's just a camaraderie that comes with it. And yeah, to your point, when you're building something around that veteran community, the conversation does kind of come easy. And then again, that simple stupid step, all you got to do, dude, is click record and start
Yeah.
talking to a guy, and that's the long and short of a podcast, and you're doing it. Like, I'm
Oh
proud of
yeah.
you, dude. It's awesome. It's been awesome to watch, and I'm so stoked to see like how this keeps growing for you.
Well, I just want to say thanks, man, because you're the one that got me into doing this and bring me under your umbrella and your network and stuff, man. Really, it's been awesome, and I can't help it. It's not like I just set out every day to do it, but it's like I go hunting. I've got all that time out there with no phone, no nothing going on to just think, and it's like I'm coming up with all these different ideas I want to do. It's like the new segment I'm starting. I guess February 1st is when I'll start it, but I'm going to go ahead and start recording some episodes for it. Back to basic. I used to get questions all the time about what's the Army like. Is it really like you see in the movies and stuff like that? And I always tell people no. The only thing they ever get
What
right in
movie?
movies is the patches. That's about it.
Yeah.
But it's like now, and it all started after that Netflix special that came out about the Marine Corps boot camp and stuff like that. Guys like, man, is that what boot camp's really like? No. And it's like, I don't want to just sit down and have this conversation 25 times. I'd rather just do an episode every month, have a different
Hey,
guest on. I
man.
want to do it from both perspectives, though, from the perspective of the drill sergeant, what they see the whole time, and then from the trainee too. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
start doing that because I think that'll be a blast. Just hearing the crazy stories. Because I told a couple of them last night when I was talking to Michael about it. We had so I went to basic training in Fort McClellan, Alabama. It's closed now. Some rapper bought it. He bought the whole base.
What?
Well, when I went to
Really?
basic there, about a mile down the road from our barrack, or well, yeah, I'll just say our barracks, was Burger King. We had a couple of guys that snuck out one night and they jumped out the window from the second story, built a little rope to climb down with some bed sheets, drop down, run to Burger King, got food, and then come back and went through the laundry room and come up and got caught.
Oh my!
So
Why didn't they climb out back up the sheets that they went down?
because they were too high, they couldn't reach them.
Oh,
Because
geez,
they only
dude.
lowered them down so far where they were only dropping maybe 10 or 12 feet instead of all the way from the second floor down.
Oh man, they should
Dude,
have been
we
taking
had
orders every bunk.
it's like the stuff that I saw there is just like, wow. So it's like, I want to get this stuff out. I want to hear, I know I'm not the only one that had these experiences. I know other people went to basic, had crazy stuff happen too, or seen crazy things happen. I want to get people to come in and talk about it and get the stories out there. Because people,
Yeah.
or people's thought process of basic training is all you see is drill sergeants yelling at privates, but it's not always like that. It's not always like that. There's just stupid things that take place in basic that people won't even believe. So it's like I want to get those stories out there and let everybody hear it. So
Yeah. I love the concept, man. I'm excited to hear more of those episodes come. I know you got a few scheduled already.
yeah,
It's it's actually funny on the basic note. I forgot about your series that you're going to do, but I just had one of my buddies that I went to basic training with, and this dude Anyway, this dude, Will Jones I'm going to name him, and he's actually considering, this might be a little early, and I hope he doesn't not enjoy this, but he's considering running for a Senate seat. So kind of
Oh,
just totally cool. But he reached out to me the other day and he was like, "Hey man, tell me more about your light to fire outdoor stuff." So he's clearly been seeing it, online or whatever the
yep.
case is. Go all the way to basic training. There's a super skinny blonde dude, and like I don't know him from Adam, so everything's on based off first appearances. Like I'm sure everybody's checking everybody out, and you're trying to weigh the strong guys versus the weak guys, and because
Oh, yeah.
you're feeling like a jackass for being there because the TIs are tearing into every single person there and whatever. This dude starts talking in the middle of one of our like little we had like a trainee little powwow one day in our day room.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time I ever heard this guy talk. And Will Jones, he's got the deepest Alabama accent you've ever heard in your life. And so immediately you're just like, okay, this dude's a little podunk, right? Like, all right, he's a skinny dude. He's not very big, skinny, and he just starts talking. He always has a grin on his face. It doesn't matter what he's doing. He's got happy eyes and a happy grin on his face. And that's all I remember about him up front. I'm just like, okay, like we'll see about this guy. And then he starts talking. And I'm like, oh, we'll really see about this guy. Like he might make it. But then, dude, we would have conversations, and this is one of the smartest guys I've ever met in my life. And to this day, like anytime he posts something on Facebook, even I'm like, I got to read that because this dude's like, he's smart, he's intuitive, he's with it with like, he's probably read more books than I'll ever read in my life. Like he's just like seriously brilliant. Like,
Yeah.
and I just remember that being one of those things for me, going to basic. Like you're just shoved in a room, and you've all got to work as a team with people that you don't
Yep.
even you may never have a chance in the real world to even try to work with just because you
No.
might not choose to, but you're never going to
Yep.
get forced to. And he was one of those guys that just blew my mind, just based off first impression to like, holy shit, I can learn a lot from this guy. And immediately humbled me, right? So, like, anyway, he reaches out of all people, and he goes, "Hey man, tell me more about this Light the Fire Outdoor stuff." And then so I checked out his page. I actually hadn't seen anything. The algorithm must have like separated us for a little bit on Facebook. Checked out
Mm-hmm.
his page, and he posted like the next day, or maybe he'd posted a few days prior. But anyway, I found this post, and he was like, "Hey, I'm just curious, like what everybody's basic training experience was like." And but we need to get him on your podcast. Is I guess what I'm saying. I don't think he hunts,
Yes.
but either way, we need to get him on your podcast for this specific thing because his take
Oh,
was
yeah.
hilarious and it was awesome. And he actually called out, and I was surprised at this, like, and he compared his army basic experience because that's where I'll finish the story. Sorry. So in our basic training, Will Jones, brilliant dude, really quiet, but when he talks, like everybody shuts up because they're like, he's about to say something awesome. Like this dude is like killer, wicked smart. And so he ends up he goes to uh I can't remember what we called it, but like basically he goes to the hospital for a few days, gets out of, or he's out of basic training, he's on like the bed rest or whatever they have, and then he ends
Mm-hmm.
up goes to the hospital for a few days. He's gone out of our picture. He comes back and I don't know if he was packing his bag. I don't remember how we all saw him, but anyway, somehow through the grapevine, we ended up having this conversation with him, and we knew he was like bouncing. And we were like, "Damn, dude, what happened?" And he ended up, and I hope I'm not sharing too much information, but he had some issue. Things are swelling that you don't want swelling, apparently. And I've actually
Oh.
heard of it happening before with other people. And
Oh.
anyway, his response, we're like, "Dude, like, come on, man, you can make it. We've only got this many more weeks, and then whatever this causing these issues is going to be gone." And he's like, "Well, they gave me a few options, and if I'm being honest with you guys, like somebody taking a scalpel to my nuts for mixed results is not something I'm comfortable with, so I'm out." Just he bailed because of the surgery option that they were going to potentially put him through. And then yeah, so he gets out, he moves on. I think we all assume we'd never hear from him again. Of course, after basic, everybody adds each other on Facebook and whatever, and so we're following him. But he ended up joining the army. So he goes to Army basic training. So he had an Air Force basic training experience, and now he's in the Army experience. And he compared the
Yep.
two on this Facebook post right after you and I had talked about this. I just thought it was good timing. And anyway, I was surprised his Army experience, according to him, and whatever what was going on there. Like you guys, and I don't understand the Army system totally yet, but you guys have like maybe different basic types based off what career field you're going into. Is that
Well, basics the same all across the board, and then you have what they call AIT, which is your advanced individual training. that's what you go to for your schooling for the job you're going to do. And they're all different. It all depends. Like I think mine was 12 weeks, I believe. I think basic was 12 weeks and maybe AIT was 6, 8 weeks, something like that. I think I was there like a total of 3 months, or 4 months, 5 months, something like that. I can't remember.
Okay.
But
Well, and whatever he was comparing it to, he sounded like he had approached somebody about his experience not being all that hard, but he had heard while he was there that this was like the hard version compared to like another AIT maybe or another
mm-hmm.
another job scopes training. And he said, he basically said out loud, I went through Air Force Basic, and I remember like the first night, the TI was like punching the locker repeatedly beside this guy's head and screaming at him or whatever, which I think we all remember from that night. And I reference that a lot when I talk about Basic. Um, but he's like, and coming from that to this, and then knowing that I have the hard version, I'd hate to see what the other version's like, because he's like, holy crap, like. And then he basically just posted the question, like, I'll be curious what everybody else's basic experiences, was like. And I just commented, I distinctly remember that evening, or whatever, this TI was going. But anyway, long story short, yeah, like you said, everybody has their own experience, and everybody's got their own funny stories, I'm sure, to pull from it. And um, yeah, it's just it's a wild beginning to one of the coolest adventures you'll take in your life, I think, for most people. So, on that
Yeah.
note, to keep this thing moving along, you got back to the basics coming up. You're kicking off your 2026 season. Back to Basic is coming on as a series. Is there anything going to be hunting related tied to that, or is it going to be all just straight for fun, veteran basic training stories?
It's just going to be straight for fun. I mean, I'm thinking I've got some ideas floating around that I haven't decided if I want to do yet or not. I most of the people I'm going to have on are going to be past guests to start out, just to get the episodes going. And then I'm going to have people I don't even know come on and just talk about it. I'm just going to hit veterans up on Facebook. Hey, come on, talk. But I want to possibly maybe at the end of the episode, just if the person is a hunter, have them give their favorite or their best hunting tip that they have. So maybe like the tip of the month or something. I don't know. Something just to have a little bit of hunting in it. But it's like, maybe I don't. Maybe I just want to keep it just light and fun. Just about straight veteran stuff, just military, whatever. So, but I am going to have guests from all spectrum of the military. So
no, I think that's awesome, dude. And yeah, there's a couple. I tried having can't remember his name right now, which was sad. But anyway, the guy that was actually a TAC P from the Air Force, he ended up having to we had a scheduling conflict when his episode was supposed to be recorded. But anyway, um, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to hear like different stories from guys even like outside of ours. Obviously, like I feel like Air Force relatively basic, but then you have the extended version and probably where
yes.
AIT kind of kicks in. If you get a TAC P job slot, that's your Special Forces Air Force branch basically. They're kind of in their own world. They do their own stuff, way above and beyond like normal, what I would say normal Air Force jobs and careers and whatever. But those guys would be killer to have on that. Obviously, like Marine versus Army is something that's kind of interesting to me. Like at the end of the day, you all kind of do in my mind of the general idea of both branches' mission is similar, but still very different in how they're trained and how they operate and mentality and everything else. Because that's kind of the thing you get to with basic is, and you kind of see it in your episodes actually, or even like good example for me in real life is like we're currently at Fort Hood, which we're Air Force people. We go to Fort Hood, which is straight giant Army base. Dude, it's like walking into a different world a little bit outside the BX and the commissary. It's like those things are very similar, but like the actual operation, going from like a squadron to, and you can help me with this, I'm probably going to butcher it, but like, Air Force is like element, squadron, yada yada. You guys were like garrison, brigade,
well,
the different terminologies.
You got company, battalion, brigade. Oh man, I can't think of what's above brigade. It's been too long.
Air Force, that's always above.
yeah. Chair Force, no, they're down here.
Call us when you need us, baby. Let's go. We'll be over here playing Chinese football in the break room.
Rolling chair football. Woohoo!
Exactly.
It's sad when you guys get profiles from rolling chair football. That's bad.
It hurts. You don't even go there until you've been there. Okay.
Okay. All right. You're right. Calm
Look,
down.
I tore
Hold
my
on. I'm gonna go get you a White Claw. I'll be right back. Hold on.
thank you. I tore my ACL my rookie season of wheelchair football, and hey, disability is a real thing, pal. I don't have
20%,
disability.
baby.
Yeah, let's go. I fell out of my wheelie chair really hard.
Oh my God.
Um, anyway, yeah, so no, but like the point is it's cool like seeing the different branches because everything is a totally different world. I got buddies that are Navy, a couple Marines, lots of Army buddies,
Yep.
obviously tons of Air Force buddies. But yeah, every branch is different. But at the end of the day, you all slap each other with a high five, and it's kind of the same old stuff, different branch, right? Like it's kind of
Oh
fun to,
yeah.
and it'll be really cool to hear everybody's different experiences because those experiences and the mentality they breed India at your basic is that's kind of where you get your an intentional culture shock about like who you used to be and who you're going to be now, like
Oh
moving
yeah.
forward, and the mentality of every branch is a little different. Like you walk out with this new little section of your brain turned on and converted that you can't ever really put back.
Yep.
So I'll be interested to hear some of those stories and just get that perspective too. Because,
Yeah.
and I'll just say like being, obviously I'm not doing the day-to-day stuff. That's my wife's active duty career right now, but her
Hmm.
interacting with Army personnel on a daily basis, there's actually like, there's totally different like leadership and totally different just even like operational mentality and everything else like but it's a culture thing.
Yeah.
It's not like this person's different than this person. It's truly like the cultures clash because there's just such a different perspective,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's all required to perfectly execute the mission that you guys are doing compared to the Air Force is doing compared to the Marines are doing. Like you
Yep.
need to have a pre-wiring in your brain, and that's it. All starts at basic training for everybody, or
Yep.
officers obviously have a little bit different training section, but either way, yeah, I'm stoked for that up or the your series that you're going to launch there. It's going to be pretty cool.
Well, I appreciate it, man. It's just something I wanted to add something a little more to the podcast, and I couldn't really figure out what to do. And it's like the more and more I thought about it, and I'll never forget when I had the idea. Me and a buddy were out hunting, and I was sitting there. I was like, "Man, what can I do?" And it actually kind of screwed me that day. Sitting there, and I've got two big trails that come in and come together, and I'm sitting back probably 20 yards from where they come together. I'm all in my head, not even paying attention, just kind of looking up to the sky, trying to figure out what to do. How can I advance this? How can I make it more entertaining and more interesting to people? Because I don't want it to be serious all the time. And that's why I told you when we talked about this before, I didn't want to do an outline. I don't want to do an outline for each episode because I just want the conversation just to flow, just normal. I don't want to have to sit here and hold my notebook. So tell me what you did in 1984. Oh, that's great. Tell me what you did in 1986. I don't want to do all that. I just want to have a normal conversation, just let it flow. And it hit me. I was like, everybody's been asking me about basic training. What was it like? What was your experience? How were your drill sergeants? Were they always yelling at you and screaming at you and throwing stuff? Or, did they talk to you like humans at some point? And just all this stuff. And, what kind of crazy things you guys see? What did you do? And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do that. I've had, and I'm not kidding, since we moved back here to Indiana, I've probably had 15 or 20 people ask me about it. And I even asked the last person asked me, I was like, why are people so worried about basic training now? Well, that special came out on Netflix. So, I just kind of wonder if it was like that. I was like, no, I've watched that special. It was nothing like that. Not even close. So I thought that's what I'm going to do. And as I'm sitting there going over it, I reached in my pocket to get my phone. As I pull my phone out, there's a buck standing 20 yards from me looking at me.
Let's
All I
go.
see is I see his head turn, I see his whole body go, and his tail's up, and he's out. I was like, well, I'll just go ahead and finish my note on my phone.
Yeah, you'll have that. Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to turn out good. I want to have you come on and talk about your experiences in basic. I'm going to have other past guests come on and talk about it. I've got right now an active duty Army drill sergeant is going to come on the 16th because that's his break from his cycle. He's going to come on and talk about it. And I'm excited about that because Michael, the guy I was talking to last night, he was a drill sergeant too, but he was a drill sergeant back in like 2002, 2003. So the Army's changed basic a little bit for us. So I want to have him come on and talk and tell what's new, and then just go into what's the crazy stuff you see privates do. What crazy things have you seen privates do in basic training? Because we're teenagers, we're 18 years old. This is a lot of guys' first time away from home, and they're under stress nonstop. So guys flip out. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff. So I'm excited to have him on and talk about just the things that he has seen and had to do. So
yeah,
I think
it's gonna be cool, awesome, man. It's gonna be super cool. Yeah, and and you're gonna get. I think you're gonna get some of those stories out of the guys that you have on just to talk about basic in general, because none of us forget the dudes that snap or the dudes that the little things that happen when guys just can't figure it out, and yeah, it's wild. The one lesson I took away so quick from basic, and it was the very first night, exactly what Will was talking about when that TI, he was up in this dude's face. And I was talking to my wife about this the other day, and about the story that popped up, and it was like the simple thing the guy didn't get was that he was forgetting to say his reporting statement before he talked to the TI.
Yep.
So it's something as simple as, like, for those of you listening that maybe don't know, this, I don't think it's unique to the Air Force. I'm sure you guys have your own version of it in other branches, but like, before you address a TI in training, you're supposed to say, sir, XYZ, your name, AKA, reports as ordered, and then say what you're going to say.
Yes.
And so the TI asked this kid a question, and he blurts the answer out of his mouth, and the TI gets up in his face and just goes, "What the fuck did you just say to me?" or whatever he says, And so he just says it again, and then immediately, like, your every eye in the room should be, if you're being wise about this, always pay attention to the mistakes somebody else is making so you don't make them. and learn as fast as you possibly can what's going wrong in the situation so you can avoid it in the future. And I was telling my wife, I remember that I bet it lasted for 20 or 30 minutes. It was over and over and over. And like, I think everybody in that room, all we wanted to say is, just fucking say your reporting statement, dude. Like, we're all about ready to cry. We haven't got any sleep. We're stressed to the max, and this idiot can't just spit 3 words out of his mouth, and you're like, oh my God. And we're, welcome to hell. It's
See, my basic training experience was horrible, and it wasn't because of me. It was my battle buddy. The guy just would not. He couldn't get it. He could not get it. And it's like I told you, I went to Fort McClellan, Alabama, in the middle of summer. It's hot, so they're forcing us to drink water all the time to stay hydrated. Well, one example of this kid, we went to. So this is back in 1996. We had these targets we would go to qualify on. They were huge, and I've seen them in different TV shows. And I told my wife, I was like, that's the targets I'm talking about. Guys nowadays don't have that. We did. So I'm on the firing line firing. My battle buddy is downrange from me, standing on this big concrete wall with cover over the top of him. So my bullets are flying over his head, but he's protected. But he's got this big handle in his hand, and he's spinning the target. So I'll shoot 3 rounds. He'll spin the target down to him, put these big round paddles in the holes so I can see him from the target line. Okay, that's where I'm shooting. I need to make adjustments. We're out on the firing line because there was a couple guys that were having problems. Because in basic training, you have a lot of guys that grew up hunting. They've been around weapons their whole lives. They know how to shoot. And then you have the other side that have never touched a weapon in their life. They've never heard a gun go off, never shot one, nothing. We had a guy there that never grew up around guns. His family didn't have them. He didn't hunt, so he never been around them. He's having some problems, so they're working with him a lot more, trying to help him out. So we're constantly drinking water, and we're laying out there. We've got this is back when we had BDUs. We got our sleeves rolled up to our elbows. We got our pants unbloused from our boots, rolled up and stuff, trying to stay cool, constantly drinking water. And I'll never forget it. I go down range to spin the targets for my battle buddy. And, oh man, God bless his soul. Oh boy. He, on the firing line, asked to go to the bathroom. They told him no. So he pees his pants. When we get done, we get done firing. We form up in our platoons, and you're always next to your battle buddy. I'm standing there, and drill sergeant's walking through, checking everybody for brass. Can't have any live ammo, no brass, nothing. Making everybody dump out their pockets. He gets to Farnham. Farnham goes to dump his pockets. Drill sergeant starts to walk away, gets right in front of me and stops and glances down. And instantly in my head, I'm like, oh, shit, this ain't good. He backs up, looks at him. He goes, did you piss your pants? Yes, drill sergeant, I had to go and nobody let me go. He looks at me, he goes, that's your battle blade. That's your responsibility. He goes, come with me. Oh, no way. Now, when we went to ranges, we went to training areas, we marched. We marched out there. I, in full BDUs, boots, hat, with my M16 back then, we didn't have M4s yet, M16, had to run around the whole formation and sound off as I'm running around the whole formation. Now, this is all companies.
Yeah.
I'm sounding off. I'm doing this run because I didn't take care of my battle buddy. The whole way back. We got back to the barracks. I told him, I said, you ever do it again, I swear to Christ, me and you're going to have a come to Jesus meeting. I'm telling you now. Yep. Man. And when we graduated, I was so happy to get away from that. And I know why. They want to teach you to take care of your teammates. I get all that. But it's like, man, I can't do anything for this guy. I'm 300 meters down here behind a wall. I can't do that.
Yeah. That's wild, dude. Yeah, it's yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was one thing actually with you weren't in the Air Force side of things, you weren't supposed to go anywhere without I don't think we called them battle buddies. I can't remember what the term was that we used, but you couldn't go anywhere alone, basically. So you always had to take someone with you, right?
Yep.
And 100% accountability, all that. But we didn't get like assigned or locked into one person at any given time. It was just like everyone was responsible for their whole team, kind of.
Yeah.
Like AKA the all 60 guys in the same group. But no, it wasn't like I had one dude that him and I were like tight. But and thank God, because we had one, hearing that story anyway, because we had one dude that did the same thing. I don't remember who it was. I remember it being kind of funny, but also like a little bit sad at the same time. A guy did the same thing. He pissed his pants. We were all sitting around doing our like, I can't remember exactly what they call, like advanced trauma training, where basically they have a dummy sitting in front of you and it's got like a metal piece of shrapnel sticking out of his face and like a bunch of injuries all over the body. And then you had to like evaluate the trauma and secure the, worst injuries first and all this different stuff, like kind of like battlefield medicine, basically. But anyway, we're all huddled around this dummy, and every person was given a different scenario, and you had to go up and tackle it. And out of nowhere, we're all sitting there. And I remember I was kneeling down, and I catch movement out of the corner of my eye, and I thought it was a freaking snake, and I was like, oh my God, what the hell is that? So I didn't move. I like froze and didn't look. And I'm also like locked in because the TI is talking, and I was trying to pay attention to what he was saying, because you never know when you're going to get hit with the next question either. And then it gets out there a little further, and I'm like, what the hell, dude? And I kind of glance down, and it's like liquid just rolling right across the concrete. Thank God it didn't hit my pants, but it was like really close. It went between me and the next dude over his knee and just snaked out, and it rolled underneath the dummy. And I'm like, oh no. And then I remember the TI was always like the more like intense one. He's like, what the fuck is that? All of us just froze, because I think we all kind of knew what it was without knowing. And we're like, what? And then he ends up getting up in this guy's face, but kind of quiet. He goes, did you just piss your pants? And he's like, yes, sir. Sir, training, whatever reports is ordered. I did, sir. And he was like, why the fuck did you piss your pants? And he's like, there's a bathroom right in there. And then it was like one of those things where I think he kind of knew he messed up, like in a weird way. Like he's like, oh shoot, I haven't like given these guys a break or something, because like you probably should have had one. And yeah, for the dude was just in such fear of the whole training system that he didn't raise his hand to go to the bathroom, and then or just call it out like, hey man, I've got to, and he basically yelled at him. But the message of him in all of his intense yelling was that you never have to ask to go take care of yourself. Just go friggin' take care of yourself, basically. Like, I'd rather not have trainees pissing all over themselves, was his whole message, basically. And you could tell the TI kind of felt like an idiot too in this whole thing. Well, then, so then we go another day. We're all inside, and it was one of the days there's like administrative stuff you have to take care of. So we're inside an air conditioned building. It's nice, like you're all kind of like a little bit relaxed, but not really. And I think it was the same guy. Like he raises his hand, and you're never like, you don't ever have to raise your hand for permission. Like the whole, again, you learn this by hearing people get yelled at. Like you just call out, be a man, just do it right, but just call it out and say,
Yeah.
hey, I need some attention here. I got to go do X, Y, Z, and they'll, whatever, take care of it. Um, but anyway, this kid raises his hand and it's like super slow motion. Like it's just like we all see it and we're like, what the hell, dude? And then like he gets it all the way up and the TI goes, the TI just called on him and goes, what do you need? And he goes, sir, trainee, whoever reports his order, I've got to go to the bathroom, sir. And he goes, did I just fucking see a trainee raise his hand and ask if he could go to this? Like, and he starts chewing him out for asking this time, but it's because he raised his hand to do it. And so anyway, it was just, yeah, the whole piss and pants situation. I've seen that. It's wild, dude. Like, but it's the same thing. Always listen to the message. The
Yep.
yelling is just semantics. The message is what you need to lock into. But this kid got tore up for that. Like the rest of basic, it was just because it was so funny to watch. But whatever.
See, and that's why I wanted to do this segment, because I think it's going to be awesome, because everybody has different experiences through it. And it's like, I was an instructor at Leonard Wood and I dealt with trainees every day. So I saw, even from that aspect, saw crazy stuff there. I'm like, man, what thought in your head said that was a good idea to do?
Yeah, exactly.
So
This episode is powered by Dead Nuts Outdoors, makers of the most lifelike, lightweight, and weatherproof 2D archery targets in the world. That's right, I said 2D. We're talking full-size animals that bring the hunt to your backyard. Whether you're dialing in before the season or just burning daylight with your bow, Dead Nuts Targets makes practicing fun, training on full-size animals to ensure every rep in the backyard converts to success on your trips to the field. Built to last, easy to haul, compatible with any backstop, and 100% made in the USA, Dead Nuts Outdoors is a proud supporter of our veterans, investing in conservation and rooted in building a better, more confident community of hunters every step of the way. They are proud supporters of the Prayin and Slayin Podcast network, and you can get 10% off your Dead Nuts targets by using the code Prayin and Slayin at checkout. That's Prayin and Slayin at your checkout, or visiting the link in the show notes. Dead Nuts is helping us all hit the spot.
I gotta do
dot.
this.
Hit it.
I gotta do it. It may only last a year. I don't know. We'll see if I can get more people on for next year. I will, but it's like, man, I think it'll open people's eyes a little bit, because there is kind of I hate to say it like this, but there is kind of a comedy side to basic training. There is, especially when you get a bunch of privates in a bay, or they think they're by themselves. They're not. Drill sergeants have audio in there just listening to you. They got the little speakers and stuff. They're hearing everything you're saying. We learned that the hard way, because a bunch of guys were talking smack one night. We got woke up like 2 o'clock in the morning by trash cans and 2x4s getting banged together. Get downstairs now in the CTA. We got smoked for 25 minutes about the conversation that we're having. It's like, then everybody, oh man, they can hear us. Oh God. So then everybody's trying to whisper or passing notes.
Jeez.
That's awesome. So it's like, I really want to do this. I think it's going to be awesome.
That's going to be epic, man. Yeah. Well, it's the speakers in the dorm rooms. If you haven't gotten to basic yet and you're considering it, just remember you're heard at all times.
Yes.
We had a couple lessons learned that way too. I think we got lucky enough when we finally learned ours, though, that we were far enough in that like they threatened the crap out of us, but it was just so funny. We all couldn't stop laughing. It's one of those contagious laughs too, that like as soon as it gets quiet, somebody like snickers and then everybody dies again, and it's just like over and over. And like the TIs just kept ripping us, and eventually they just stopped. But we were fully expecting to get them to show up and us get just hammered, but they never did show up at the door for us. But I think we were far enough in there, just like, screw it, they probably need to get this out of their system a little bit.
It was a great experience. I mean, I'm glad I did it. I signed up my junior year of high school. I thought about multiple times, just said, nah, this is not for me. But I thought, yeah, this is what I want to do. And I'm glad I did it. I retired at 38 years old. I just enjoying life now.
Yeah.
So it was awesome.
No, that's cool. Anything else new for you this year? Or is that kind of the one thing you're going to try to work in?
That's the one thing I'm going to work in. I mean, I'm working on now finding new guests for just the hunting the front lines portion of it. I'm trying to find new guests for that. So I've reached out to a couple of guys. I reached out to the guy out in Fort Sill, killed that giant record book elk.
Yeah.
reached out to him to talk to him. Haven't heard from him yet. I just reached out, which I got to call Fort Knox back. There was a guy down there. I sent you the picture of that 3-beam buck he killed.
That was cool.
Yeah, so I want to get him to come on and talk. I'm gonna do a solo episode, which if you're not busy, I may have you come on. You can we'll talk about it. I'm gonna talk about hunting crane and Atterbury this year. Get both those in there.
Yeah,
I may make both of those just one episode though, because crane's pretty easy. So there's no way I'm gonna be able to talk about it for an hour. So I thought I may just combine the two, because Atterbury is a little different too than like hunting Fort Knox, Fort Leonard Wood, Fort Riley, all those places. So I may just combine the two and make it one episode. And then I'm going to have my cousin come on. He's not a vet, but I'm having him come on as he hunted crane with me once. So I want to get his perspective on how the hunt was. I mean, we saw deer all day. We saw deer all day long. But
heck yeah, man. No, we'll have to do an episode too on. I finally got an opportunity. I wasn't sure if I'd get it while we were in here in Texas, but hunting Fort Hood. So
yes,
the system in that I kind of gone through the paces of actually getting all the way up to the point of getting out in the woods, and we got out in the woods here this couple days ago, actually on Sunday. Got a chance to, so we'll have to do an episode on that. You know, obviously didn't smoke anything, but just the process is what I'm excited to share with people, just because, you know, and maybe it's a little bit more normal for Army guys, I guess, that come down or guys and gals who come down to get stationed different places. But for me, this was the first time I've had to utilize the iSportsman system and then all the intricacies that follow that. It's not just like getting authorized to hunt base. It's like, it's almost its own, you know, individual rule book and units and there's a lot to it. And I had a great dude, Jess Todd, who I think you're working right now on getting an episode in with him or a couple with him. Kind of guide me through the process a little bit, or at least just give me the pieces of like, hey, at this time go to this, and at this time go to that.
Yes.
But then also we'll be doing some turkey hunting here this spring, hopefully on Fort Hood again with him, and he runs a couple pages for that, and it's kind of like a spearhead in the turkey hunting community on that base. So that'll be really cool. But yeah, man, I'm excited for. I know you got lots of guests in the hopper already too, and lots of episodes in mind, but I think it's just going to continue to expand the resource that you wanted to be for the veteran and active duty community for hunting different places across the country. And yeah, maybe even some overseas stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah. And like me and you had talked about last year, and I want to incorporate it sometime this year. I want to do an episode where we combined our experiences hunting out West. Because, you know, both of us coming from the East Coast, going out West to hunt, for me, it was a culture shock. It was completely different. And Michael kind of touched on it last night. He made a comment because he's from Oregon, and he touched on it. I told him, I said, it's funny you said that, because I was actually going to do an episode where at the end of the episode, I want to post like a packing list for guys to take out there. It doesn't matter if you're going on a hunting trip or you're moving out there. These are things you're going to need in your pack. It's not like hunting here. You know, here I'm packing up my scent killer. I'm packing up my ozonics unit. I'm packing up, you know, my hand warmer, stuff like that. Out there, you got to pack gear to keep you alive. So it's completely different. So, you know, I want to jump into that, but I think I'm going to wait till after turkey season, because that's when guys will really start kind of getting those things together to go out there for the fall to hunt. So I thought if I can do it maybe in May, me and you sit down and do the episode, get the packing list together. Then if I release it around June, July, that'll help a lot more people out, because a lot of guys will be getting ready to go on those trips, you know, September, October timeframe. So it gives them, it'll give them a couple months to listen to it, watch it, and then kind of get their stuff packed and ready to go. Because I actually had a guy from the sheriff's department here. Those packs I got from you, he bought one of those packs from me, and they're going out. Well, they went out. I think in November on an elk hunt to Colorado, I believe. And he's like, man, what all should I take? So I sent him a text message, a bunch of stuff in there. I was like, I'd have all this stuff in your pack, all that. Game bags, very important. You know, get a fire starter, take all that stuff with you. You want 3 or 4 bottles of water, depending on how long you're going to be out. You know, if it's just going to be like a day trip, you're going to go out and then come back to camp, then, you know, at least 3 bottles. If you're going to be out there longer, I'd take maybe if there's like 3 or 4 of you guys, take a whole case of water out. But I'm looking forward to doing that too, because I think that'll be really helpful for just anybody, not even just vets, just anybody.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be definitely, like you said, it's universal application. But two vets, guys again that get kind of placed in that culture shock. It's one thing if you, I think there's a lot of resources and a lot of guys, that, and a lot of vets that are getting stationed somewhere might utilize these pages too. But there's always like,
Yeah.
the Western Hunters forums and the Western Hunters pages and Hunting
Yep.
Montana and like whatever, right? So like, and you see it all the time if you're on those pages, like guys, hey, I'm about to go out on my first elk hunt.
Yep.
What do I need, or where do I go, or so
Yep.
there's guys that like post the generic questions. So there's a bajillion resources out there. But like, the thing with the military side of this, where I think a lot of guys will have it is like for us, like, Montana might be a dream of yours if it's something that you like really want to go do one day, but then you don't know that, hey man, I got orders from Langley, in Virginia, the beaches of Virginia,
Yeah.
to oh, our next base, we just learned today, and by the way, we're going to be there in 4 months or whatever it is going to be Malmstrom in Montana. So holy
Yep.
crap, what a culture shock and what a hunting shock and like all the different things. So
Yeah.
for that, it's like that's a short learning curve. But then you even talk like things to have in your pack just to do the hunt and to do it right and to think about differently or whatever. You know, Fort Hood again, there's different things that like you're required to display a vehicle
Yep.
pass when you drive into your unit. That, and
Yep.
I'm assuming that's in case like a Humvee or security forces or whatever runs out there that are doing some kind of exercise. They can probably scan your vehicle pass and know, okay, this dude's in here. He registered at this time. He's signed in at this time. He's legally authorized to be in this unit at this time.
Yep.
Um, and that's something, like if you're just driving out there though, and you've got your hunting license and you can go hunt out there or whatever, like, you may not just post a vehicle, something that could get you in trouble or revoke your privileges or, so that's
Yep.
another thing too, like what's in your pack, but what's also like, if you can hunt on a base or in a base controlled area, because there's a lot of like Army Corps of Engineers property
Yep.
out here that's technically Army Corps of Engineers. However, it does belong to the greater Fort Hood like ecosystem, and so
Yep.
they actually control it. And at any given time, they can legitimately shut down gigantic sections of land because they're going to run some massive exercise in there.
Yep.
And you could literally, there, even when you're like filling this stuff out, I thought it was kind of funny. Like, if you happen to see a soldier, like while you're out, you're legally required to stay 500 yards from them. Oh, and you have to call this very specific number to basically report that you're out there in this area. I'm like, that kind of makes sense, because if they're doing live fire exercises and you just all of a sudden we're hunting someplace and you don't know and you're in the middle of this firefight, or pretend firefight, that could be real interesting, real quick.
Yep.
So, or a friggin' tank rolls by or who knows what. So it's kind of a wild deal, but yeah, just the stuff you wouldn't think about normally that you should
No.
probably think about here. And or hey, what do you carry in a bino harness? For me, I probably had more documentation than I needed,
Yep.
but I printed off my base license. I printed off
Yep.
my vehicle pass. I printed off my reservation that I made. I printed off my check-in stuff that I made, and I had it like all folded up together in my vinyl harness. With the exception when we parked, I put the vehicle pass out. But
Yeah.
like, either way, like I want to make sure my bases are covered. And a guy
Yes.
that just makes a reservation online, he might walk out there and not think twice about anything else. And maybe he catches him wrong, and he gets, or has again security forces roll by and they see a truck parked. Maybe he doesn't have the right things done at the right time. And so that's all. Yeah, all of it's good stuff. Yeah, number one, if you're hunting a different part of the country, North America is kind of this really awesome ecosystem where we have like legitimately any kind of environment out there. If
Yep.
you're going to hunt it, it requires totally different thought process, gear, um, you know, ways of going about doing things, planning. Montana, I learned the extreme hard way of letting people know where you're going to be and when you're going to be there, because
Yes.
if people don't know and they can't get a hold of you because signal isn't great in the mountains, by the way, like they think you're dead and you're not dead. You're just out there
Yeah.
having a great time, and you get home and have a wife that pretty much tells you you're never going to hunt again. Like, it's scary. It gets real scary real fast. I'm speaking from a buddy's perspective, but
Sure.
yeah, yeah,
That's why you haven't hunted since.
yeah. I've never gone hunting since. So
Yep.
anyway. But yeah, no, it's but seriously though, it is a lot of places, every hunter should go out with a game plan, but
Oh
certain
yeah.
places it's make sure you make sure you check every box you possibly can. So, and that's
Yep.
yeah, an awesome resource that you have. You literally have the opportunity here to tell stories from guys who've been nationwide doing everything you can imagine, and they've all got tidbits of information everybody can learn from. So
Oh yeah, yeah. That's. I'm looking forward to that this year. Like I told you when we first started this, I want to find ways to incorporate new things into it to keep it fresh and keep it going. So, like I said, mine's always turn. I'm always taking notes. I mean, I've got probably 20 pages of this thing filled up, plus my phone. I've got a bunch of notes in there. So,
Yeah. So let's talk about the hunt recaps that you had for this year. So you hunted Crane. Sounds like you hunted Atterbury, and obviously you've had a few guests on from those places. Any other bases that you guys logged this year in your system? Or your podcast?
no, I just stayed around Indiana this year. I just got too much stuff going on. I really didn't have time to go out of state, but I am already planning. I've already got my calendar in the kitchen right now in the bar, and I'm comparing my calendar to my wife's because she's getting her doctorate right now. So I've got to kind of work around her schedule and everything. But I'm already planning on going out of state for turkey. So I'm going to Knox for turkey. I'm going to try to go to Leonard Wood for turkey. I've got a couple buddies of mine out there. I'm going to hook up with them and go kill some thunder chickens. I'm going to Fort Knox for deer season this year, and I'll probably go back to Illinois. I didn't go to Illinois last year. I didn't get drawn. I didn't get drawn. It's crazy because you put in as a non-resident, you put in for the lottery to get drawn. I didn't get drawn, but there were still 185 tags left over. Why did I get drawn?
Yeah, that's
So,
wild.
and
Yeah,
it's one of those things when so the tags that don't get put in the lottery that are left over, they put them in different stores and they put them for sale. But you got to be standing in line when they go on. If you're not, you won't get one. I'm going to
interesting.
go over and deer hunt this year. I think I'm going to archery hunt over this year. I'd never archery hunted Illinois, but I'm going to this year.
Heck
So
yeah,
that's all I
that'd be
got. That's
awesome.
all I got in the schedule is that. So now, when are you guys leaving Texas to go on the next assignment?
We should be leaving by July. So yeah, we got finally got word. Haven't got official orders yet, but should be going to Alabama. So that it was
Okay.
different again in the South. We yeah going to and actually that's where Will Jones is from. So maybe I'll be in his precinct and I'll give him my vote this year for if he
There you
runs
go.
for office. But anyway, yeah, so that'll be a new adventure and a lot of hunting and fishing to do out there, obviously, and get the coast and everything else. So excited about that. Um,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and then as far as like the Light the Fire Outdoors Prayin and Slayin side, instead of a potential overseas assignment, it was a little relieving knowing we were staying stateside because we just launched the knee bag this year.
Yes.
That's been kicking butt and getting a lot of people interested in it. Got a dealer signed, which was awesome. So we're in a Ridge to River Outdoors, which was ran by maybe he's the Marine I was thinking of. No, he's Army. He was a Mike Unruh. Anyway, gentleman out there that he runs a veteran-owned and operated sporting goods retailer that he started up Ridge to River Outdoors out of Missouri, and then he's doing uh, he does most of his proceeds and stuff like that go back to the Fallen Outdoors, which he's a big part of, all volunteer organization, 501c3 that puts on veteran adventures basically nationwide, and they've got
Mm-hmm.
regionals, north, south, east, west, basically U.S. regional pages you can get on if you're a vet. And basically, if there's opportunities to be had, then they post them there and you can sign up for them and kind of first come, first serve. But really cool organization there. And then the fact that they have a dealer thing and we get to do our 100% made by veterans product in their veteran owned and operated shop. And got a couple more actually in the hopper we're working on now. Been sending some information to over the last couple days. So maybe we'll be in some more veteran owned and operated retailers here soon. Um, but yeah, so knowing that I can still keep that venture up without having to fast track its exit is exciting. And then obviously, like you said, we got some hunting the front lines merchandise we'll be doing through the network here, and then praying and slaying and light fire outdoors gear as well. So again, kind of be able to run operations from the home front will be nice instead of having to try to figure out how to do that from God knows where overseas.
Yeah.
It could be a whole
Yeah.
different
Shipping
ball
would
game.
be a
Not that no, it's part of the adventure, and we'd figure it out, right? But it's just like it was
oh
like one of those chess games I was playing in my head of like, okay, like what's the right way to do it? How do we keep it going? And then how do I elevate to that next level that, because that's really what it is evolving as a business and an organization to try to figure those things out. But um, yeah, being able to do it from the U.S. is obviously a hell of a lot easier, and excited to just keep growing
yeah.
those more organically than kind of that forced method.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, then taking Operation Hunt to its uh, own podcast is pretty cool, and I'm digging the idea. I've really liked what Prayin and Slayin has evolved into over this 2025 season of doing it full time. It's uh it's allowed it to take some shape because I've just had that dedicated focus to it to really get the guests on and just do the reps, I guess, right? To kind of let that vision come to life, just do the easy step, record
Yeah.
podcast one, record podcast two, three, four, five. And then now, we're a full year in on our first actual like legit start to finish full year.
Yep.
And the vision for it is way clearer than it was when we ever started it. And yeah, so we're all about praying and slaying side is the blue collar community that makes up the hunting industry is who we're about. And um, like I've said in our launch episode, if you ever posted a kill picture of a deer, a turkey, whatever you've hunted, if it's on Facebook, there's a good chance you're going to see someone from our team in your inbox saying, "Hey man, we'd love to have your story on the Prayin and Slayin podcast." And it's been
Yep.
sweet, like seeing like doing that raw outreach, and you kind of like I imagine what goes through these people's minds every time I send one of these messages or someone sends these messages, and I'm like, if I read this and I was them, I'm like, this is weird, like
Oh yeah.
who's this dude, But like the response has been awesome. Like most people are just a real quick, like, yeah, dude, absolutely, let's do it.
Oh yeah.
And for most guys and gals that we've had on or that we've recorded that'll be launched this year, like it's their first podcast ever. So that's also kind of cool to see. Like you get those
Yep.
questions, like this isn't knocking Waddell, but like everybody feels like they've got to have the Michael Waddell and the CEO of this, company or this, chief marketing officer of that company, or like it's all about company, product, or big name. Dude, like there's millions of hunters in the United States. And it's all of our stories that collectively actually make up the whole reason that this in business or industry even exists, and that actually contributes the real dollars out to the industry to and the conservation groups and the state level
Yep.
conservation through license sales and everything else. Like, every hunter in America is what makes up the industry. It's our mission is to be the greatest collection of hunting stories the world's ever heard, and it's all through your voice, your stories, and I don't care if you shot a spike, no, not even a spike. If you shot a button buck yesterday and you posted it on Facebook, brother, like I want that story and I want it in our arsenal. Let's go. And
Yep.
it's about building community too, right? Because when we get on there, if you haven't listened to a Praying and Slaying episode yet, or maybe this is your first one and you're starting to go through the arsenal of them, um, it's more about getting to know you and who you are, and hey, let's
Yep.
chat, dude. Like the thing I find that was the cool, I didn't know how this was going to go when I knew that was kind of the direction I wanted to go with it. I'm like, it's one thing to be military to military and hey, let's do Operation Hunt and let's jump
Oh
right
yeah.
into the military stuff because immediately we have something in common, right? But like
Oh
if
yeah.
I'm reaching out to anybody to get their hunting story, like I don't know who's about to jump on the other end of this camera from me. But then I reflect on it sometimes, and that was kind of scary to me when I first started doing it. I'm like, man, I hope I can host well enough, or I hope I can keep this conversation going, or I hope that they're comfortable enough to do this, or whatever. Right? There's a lot of that, like, what if?
Oh yeah.
But then it's like at the end of the day, like I've been in the hunting industry for 10 years as a company rep, in some capacity, or a company
Yes.
employee in some capacity. I've done dozens and dozens and dozens of trade, probably hundreds of trade shows, and I've
Yep.
talked to tens of thousands of people probably at this point, just raw, organic. You meet them at a trade. The one thing we have in common is we like to hunt. So that's enough to break that ice. It's kind of like that military camaraderie, but now we have the hunting camaraderie.
Yes.
And it's been nothing short of what Operation Hunt is on the military side, getting to know these guys. And it's been kind of cool too. Like there's been a lot of dudes that I've reached out to or gals and all, like you get the episode scheduled and you get on there and you find out randomly like somehow that they were in the military too. So like the
Yep.
other side of this coin is like, okay, we're gonna break off Operation Hunt as its own episode. I hope I get enough like people that weren't in the military like uh to keep praying and slaying rocking the way it needs to, because like I've had enough of them just like randomly and part of the conversation. It's like, oh, you're in the National Guard, or oh, you did 6 years in this branch. Like I guess this is now an Operation Hunt episode. So let's pivot. Um, but yeah, it's been awesome, dude, and just getting a lot of conversations and got a ton of them scheduled right now. Got a lot of them to reschedule that we're kind of in that limbo holiday season to just re-go. And yeah, we've got several both Operation Hunt and Praying and Slaying ready to rock and roll for this year, and excited to have that momentum rocking. And yeah, it's cool, man. I think that vision of it, like the true vision, like I said, the greatest collection of hunting stories ever told. But it's
Yep.
also just as much as it is about hunting and everything else. It's about people getting to know people, right? Like I ask these people to
Yep.
just, hey, walk us through your upbringing, man. Like, who are you? Like, how did you get into hunting? What was your childhood like? Whatever. And those questions kind of feel a little weird at first when I first started doing it, but now it's just like it's cool because you actually feel like you walk away with a friendship with this person.
Oh yeah.
And I hope that's what we actually develop. It's not like that's the vision or like a facade that we're putting up, but it is like it's really cool because I genuinely feel like I know this guy or gal now, and I hope to have them on again to reconnect. And I've had several of them say, "Hey, man, I've actually got this next hunt coming up," or "Hey, I've got a cousin that would be really interested in doing this. He just
Yep.
shot this cool buck," and now it's starting to build that little bit of a snowball momentum. And yeah, I think we're gonna maybe I don't want to get ahead of it, put my head of, or get ahead of my skis here, but like I honestly think by 2027 we might have to have multiple hosts on here to just hopefully get enough of these conversations rolling, dude, or the way the snowball's building. You're like, I don't know if I can keep up with this on top of everything else we've got going. So we might
Yep.
have to figure out an alternative solution to the hosting situation. So
Oh man. Well, hopefully old John will get his butt up and get to going too. So
yeah, hopefully
I'm
he
looking
listens
forward
to
to that.
this. Yeah, we might have to drive up to the Great White North and give him a swift kick in the nuts and say, "Let's go, dude. What are you doing?"
Well, I don't think you got to kick him in the nuts. I'd say just take him a white claw or two. I think that'll probably do it right there.
I think so. Shake his
I
hand
know
and go, "See you,
mango's his
bud."
favorite. Well, I don't know. I
Oh
think he
yeah,
likes black cherry actually.
yeah. Black
So,
cherry and mango, baby. Mix them
yep.
together. Make a cocktail. But we need to get him rolling, man. He's got some cool ideas, dude. And that, yeah, I'm excited for he's signed his Prayin and Slayin network stuff, man. He's in. He's just got to get a couple recorded and get it rocking. I know we've got a couple. I need to get with him. I know he's in his off season now to where he can actually possibly start recording if he's ready for it.
Yes.
But we do have a few of the very early, what were labeled under the Prayin and Slayin kind of concept when it was just in its infancy. We've
Yeah.
got a few episodes of some turkey hunts because his podcast is Turkey Takers, Buck Takers, and Game Takers is the umbrella. But under that, he's got Turkey Takers, Buck Takers, and Laker Takers for lake trout fishing.
Yep.
And so when he gets those stories recorded, but we do have a few of the early on Praying and Slaying episodes that were more along his vision of the the buck hunting stories, the turkey hunting stories, like the
Yep.
dedicated kind of like he's a calculation guy, right? So he's like, how do I play this chess game with this turkey? How do I play this chess game with this deer? And so, those episodes when they get launched, and I think we're like I said, we're gonna um, reroute some of the early praying and slaying episodes underneath those other things where they truly belong. Like it's a
Yeah.
turkey takers episode, it's a buck takers episode, although
Yeah.
we had just kind of kicked off under the praying and slaying concept. But anyway, yeah, so get that rocking this year. But yeah, it'll be all about playing the chess game with the game that you're chasing. And John's that, he's a college football player, I think professional football player at heart, where he's like, he's trying to figure out how to tactically win that game every time he steps out of his truck. And it isn't,
Oh yeah.
it's not always about, pulling the trigger, but it's 100% always about every move that was made to where he can get closer and closer to putting that
Yep.
checkmate on whatever animal it is, and learning from people who are masters at their craft. And that's, he's about like that. It might not, it might be a 120-inch buck, and not that there's anything to shake a stick at with that, but like,
Mm.
but it's the game that went into that, getting that 120-inch deer on the ground, into where, hey man, I've got you in my sights, you're done, like it's over. And
Yep.
he is just the coolest dude you'll ever talk to, and he's just wired that way to like play that game.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
stoked for him to get started, but we gotta get him rolling, and yeah, get his guests lined up and everything else. But like I said, we have a few kickoff episodes I think we can wrap under there to get the snowball rolling.
Yeah.
We'll break off of some really old, probably at this point, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years old episodes of him and
Okay.
I talking turkey and talking deer. And but that's what, like I said, that's what his game is all about, is that chess match between man and beast. And it's fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. He's supposed to come on here. I just want to pick his brain one day. Just take the whole episode, and just pick his brain. Tell me how you do it. Tell me how you do
It
it.
felt like cheat coding it a little bit. That's it, dude. I told him the same thing when I was in Maryland and we had 2 years out there, um, 100% public land hunting, and it was just like I felt like I was close, just 'cause I know enough about hunting to put an educated guess about where I should set my stand. But I
Oh yeah.
also know that there's that next level that I'm just not at yet. And I
Yep.
know that if I was at like John's level, like John could look at a map and pick apart a piece of property and say,
Yep.
on this type of wind I would hunt here, and here's exactly why. On this type of wind I would hunt here, and that's exactly why. For me, I'm like, this looks like a good area that should bring deer by, period. Now he's going
Yes.
to look at it and go, where is the biggest, baddest buck on this property going to want to be, and why is he going to want to be there, and what is every single truck that drives by and car that parks and bird that chirps, how does that affect this deer
Yep.
and his movement and what he wants to do? And there's a why to every little piece of decision making that goes into his process.
Oh yeah.
And that's that next level. So I told him, when I was in Maryland, I was like, dude, I almost feel like I should just screenshot these areas and send them to you. And like, we should do episodes where like, it's a cheat code for me at the end of the day, right? A little bit. Cause I'm like, I get a master of the craft to say, hey, Aaron, hunt here is the idea. Yeah. So basically, it's one thing to go where two deer trails cross, set a
Yes.
stand up, or, hey, I'm going to sit on the edge of this cornfield because I know deer like to eat corn.
Yeah.
And there's a couple scrapes that I've seen on this edge. Like that's very surface level deer information, and you're going to kill deer that way. Like you will.
Yes.
If you spend enough time on those spots, absolutely there's going to be deer that come by there. You could smack one, but like, growing up and looking back on it, like I didn't know what I didn't know. Like, there's trails that were 5 yards difference from each other in the woods that I grew up hunting. That were one was like the hard beaten, like you could drive a friggin' semi down it, and it's like a deer trail, no questions asked. Like deer travel
Yep.
this spot. It took me a few years, but I realized like big bucks, literally like 5 to 10 yards off that trail, there's a buck trail, and it's different.
Yep.
And it's different for a reason because that deer, he knows he doesn't want to be like, he's not cruising that main corridor. He's using the wind on the day that the wind's blowing this direction. He's going to walk this line to
Yep.
just catch any wind he can. And it's actually has nothing to do with that trail. It has to do with the hills that are up here that the does probably actually bed on a this type of day and on this wind. So he's catching all that downhill draft of scent. So then he knows, oh, I got to go check out that bedding area that's actually up there.
Yep.
And this is all, I'm looking at, hey, there's a deer trail. I'll hunt here. Um,
Yep.
so there's a bajillion levels to deer hunting, obviously, and I'm not even close to scratching the surface on most of that high level stuff, but John is, and that's
Yes.
his game. So yeah, he'd be killer to have on there. And there's probably some series in the making where, or maybe people pay him like, hey, I'll pay $100 this season. I'll send you my map, and you guide me. And if I get a deer, it's $100 down payment. I'll pay you the extra 100 when I kill the deer type thing. That'd be killer.
He could do it. He could do it. That's for sure.
Heck yeah, dude. So
We need it. We're gonna have to take a trip up there and go hunting. He keeps asking me. I was like, yeah, I need to. It's hard to get the time. It'll change when she's done with school. The wife's done with school, then things will slow down a little bit. I'll be able to go a little more.
hopefully by this time next year, the hunting season side of things, second little man will be big enough to hang out a little bit, and mom will be more established in her day-to-day new job that she's doing. Same thing, doctorate degree, just like your wife. And
Yep.
but yeah, then maybe we can all get together and do a hunting trip together. It'd be pretty sweet.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I still want to do the whole caribou thing too. So
I was actually just thinking about you last night on that. I was watching some YouTube thing trying to fall asleep, and it was a guy hunting. I think it was moose and wolf or something in Alaska, but there was a big caribou herd that he had filming. I was like, oh, I wonder if Justin's still planning on doing that.
yep. I'm still going. I'm still going. That's all there is to it. I've been
Heck
wanting to
yeah.
hunt caribou my whole life, and living in Alaska, I just never had time. My job kind of kept me away from it. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go, and it's gonna
Heck
be the
yeah,
next
dude.
3 to 4 years.
Yep. We got to
I'm
just
go.
set a date on the map and make it happen. Like, get it rolling.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to because that's my bucket list animal. It's caribou. I'd love to kill an elk, but I'm not now. I caribou and mule deer. Those are the two that I want so bad.
You got to go back to Montana and get you one. I've got just a spot we can take you.
Yeah, I want to, man. I'll get there eventually. I'll get one of each eventually. And I got to work on my slam too for turkey. I got to finish that up. I was trying to go to Florida this year in February. I don't think I'm gonna have time. So I'm gonna try to get out west maybe and knock out maybe a Rio or a Merriam. Try to get that done. At least get one more down. So
I come down here to Fort Hood. Try to get a Rio on base.
I'll have to look into it. Maybe I could.
Yes, I think Texas. I'll have to look at the regs. I'm pretty sure Texas general hunting license is like $75 or something like that. I
That
just
ain't bad.
to be able to hunt in the state, no, not bad at all. And then Fort Hood has its own license fees too. It's
Yeah.
like I think $100 total, and it might be different for disabled vets. I don't know, but like mine was, it's like $25 for the fishing permit and 75 for the deer and turkey permits basically. But
Mm-hmm.
that gets you 3 deer, 3 turkey for $75
Jeez, that ain't bad.
for the base. No, not at all. So yeah,
That ain't bad.
put the Checkerio off and do it on base and stay aligned with Hunting the Front Lines, that'd be kind of sick.
That would be awesome, especially if I can get it on video.
Yeah.
Get it on video. I could post a little snippet of the video on there too. That'd be awesome.
Heck yeah.
So, it's going to be a busy year. This year is going to be busy. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm nervous, especially with the whole merchandise thing. I'm going to have to just do it. Just do it. Get it out there and see how it goes. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but like I said, I'm still nervous about it. I just don't, want to make sure it goes well.
That's kind of with my thing too. Is it's an odd thing to get into because it feels weird because it's less business, more personal at this point.
Yes.
But like my thing is if I don't do it, because the mission at Light the Fire Outdoors, which Prayin and Slayin Network and everything supports, is well, now we've actually got our own dedicated mission, the License to Kill initiative, which we
Yep.
support and sponsor veterans or active members hunting licenses for the year for their home state. And I think this year we're going to be doing 6, but they're out. Go check it out on lightthefireoutdoors.com. /impact. It's on the impact page, and you can actually see the sponsees that we've got this year for getting their licenses paid for. Yeah, it's sick. But anyway, so yeah, every merch sale, knee bag sale, sponsorship to the podcast network, the partnerships we have with business growth, uh, consulting and things like that at Light the Fire Outdoors, like all that goes back towards, kicks back to those things. So there's a bigger mission behind it, which is kind of the cool factor. And yeah, I think breaking the ice is kind of weird, for if you've never done it before, people listening, like going into like trying to sell your first thing that you've stamped your name on, and you're automatically feel like, well, I'm Joe Blow nobody. I'm not, JC Penney, like I can't sell any shirts, or whatever. Like it feels super weird, and it's like the most awkward thing. But then all this, like the coolest thing is seeing people that um maybe you don't know follow you yet or listen to your stuff yet, like buy stuff from you and support your mission and support your cause and support what you're doing, because that's what it is. It's the dollars that
Yep.
get put towards those things, the showcase of people having your back and supporting you. And um, yeah, it means the world. And for anybody, again, it's followed Light Fire Outdoors or Prayin and Slayin. And then this year it was kind of a more of an impactful thing for me to be able to say, hey, like these dollars, like outside of us finding projects to contribute them to, like we have
Yep.
our own mission that we can contribute to. And it brings a whole different feeling about like the meaning of the support that's behind what you're doing. Um,
Yes.
it's wild. And so for you to take that step too, that's what it's about, man. It's about um, giving people some cool stuff to snag or some cool designs or whatever, to have and shirts to wear and stuff. But every one of those things that goes out the door, it's someone that supports you. And that's a pretty darn cool thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's what makes me excited about it is, I'm supporting veterans. I'm giving back. And it's like, I've always been trying to find the way to give back. And I've never been able to really figure it out. I'm still going to find a way to start a veterans group here. I gotta get the logistics of it worked out. And it's like, I don't want to host it somewhere that serves alcohol. I want it to be alcohol free. And I've got to find a way to make it feel safe and comfortable for vets to come in and talk. So it's something I got to work on because that's something that's been pulling at me for years. So I really want to get that started. I just got to figure out how to go about it. So I'm gonna reach out to some old friends of mine and talk to them and see if they can give me some nudging and some advice on how to get it going. I'm gonna get that started. So once I do that, then I'll put a big post up on the page, and I'll probably do an episode here about it just to kind of get that information out. So but I don't know if I'll do that this year or not. I don't know. I got so much stuff going on. I don't know that I'll do that. It may wait till next year. So that may be January next year. That may be the episode I do is introducing that.
Yeah, man.
So
We'll have to get you some, there's some different groups out there. Let me see where it's at. I'm searching here real quick. Um, Bo and Joe by Center Shot Blue is something you need to look into. And you're one of the people I actually think I recommended to them when I did the podcast with Chris Ham and HHA USA. Uh, they're like a veteran focused HHA Sports. It's a USA made bow sight company out of Wisconsin. Really great
mhm.
sites. If you guys haven't checked them out yet, they're awesome. But they have a mission behind that, HHA USA, which is a veteran support organization, and they actually like sponsor veterans to come up and do like these really cool bow shoots, and they tour factories and shake hands with industry people and just get a chance to have camaraderie with fellow veterans around archery shooting. And anyway, there's a couple other organizations, Center Shot Archery and Center Shot
Hmm.
Blue. Center Shot Blue is a dedicated like first responder um, veterans group, and it's dedicated to archery around those people that um, can basically benefit from shooting bows and kind of that like just calm therapeutic
Yes.
stuff that comes from just being in a place with like-minded people and shooting bows and whatever. They do that, but they do these things called Bow and Joe, and there's a couple of bow shops that actually sponsor. Long story short, I need to get you guys connected with those because I need to get Bow and Joe and Center Shot Blue and Center Shot Archery on the podcast anyway. But these guys would be great groups for you to connect with. And that Bo and Joe, you just talking about that, like a safe place, get people together, centered around a common mission, just to have camaraderie and shoot the breeze and know that they have, community in their area to connect with and stuff like that, that have gone through the similar things that they've gone through. Um,
Yep.
One of those, Center Shot Blue is definitely something I think you need to get connected with. And I think it might even be, one of the bigger picture things for, the group you've been wanting to start might be rooted in they've done that work. I know they when I was talking to Chris about it, they've got um uh what do you call it, like curriculum almost like
Yeah.
templates and stuff that like they provide to you, and so it sets the standard, it sets the conversation points. If you need that or want that, it's there. But they have a whole template set up, man. It's almost like a franchise, so to speak, right? Like you
Okay.
want to do it, they look for volunteers and they're looking to open chapters all over the place. And I know that's kind of one of the things I've been working on behind the scenes too, is with us traveling, with being active military still, it's a good opportunity as we go to hopefully maybe stand up a few of these things along the way. And you could
Yeah.
definitely do one in your local community. That'd be pretty neat.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 'Cause I mean, there's a lot of vets around here. There's a lot. I mean, there's not much to do here after people get out of high school, so a lot of guys join the military. So I think out of my class, I think we had 5 or 6 of us that went in. And it's like that every class. Every class, there's 5 or 6 people, sometimes more, that join. So there's a lot of vets here. I mean, they do a Veterans Day program at the school, and they have all the vets go down and sit on the basketball court in chairs, and there's always a bunch of people down there.
Yeah, man.
So I think it'd be something good to do around here. But all right, man, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I got to run to the school and pick up boys from football. We've
Yeah,
already
man.
started football practice and weights and everything else. Like, well, and I haven't got through baseball yet.
Yeah.
So it's busy again.
Heck yeah, man. Never a dull moment, that's for sure.
No.
Well, I'm pumped for you, dude. I'm pumped for the Praying and Slaying network as a whole and the
Yes.
growth and everything we're gonna see this year. And proud of you. Like, you wouldn't believe for what you got started this last year with Hunting the Front Lines, and you made it a full 6 months with your episodes and didn't miss a beat, and you've got more in the hopper now to just get this year's momentum rocking and rolling, dude. And like I said, I know people are listening, people are getting impacted by it, and it's going to continue to grow as that resource that I think your vision is setting it up for. So definitely excited to just watch you grow and watch the Praying and Slaying grow and this new Operation Hunt initiative get out there. And at the end of the day, just keep building that camaraderie in the military and in general blue collar community out there, man. Bunch of
Yeah.
U.S. citizens living in a crazy place, and if we can all just realize we're all kind of the same, and we hunt
Yeah.
and like to just be people and be cool people, that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah. No, man. Thanks for giving me the opportunity, man. I really appreciate it. I really do. I mean, you're kind of the one that pushed me to do it. I wanted to, but I was like, nah, I don't know. I don't know if I should do that or not. And you kept pushing. I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I should. So I just want to say thanks. I mean, you gave me the opportunity, and I really do appreciate it. I mean, it's
You
been
bet, man.
awesome.
You took the action, dude. I just had to push it out of you. Now we got to push it out of John.
I've been trying. I've sent him a few text messages. I'm actually going to send him one here in a minute. Ask him,
Heck
number
yeah.
one, when he's coming on. Number two, when is he going to have me on? So, yeah.
100%, man. Well, go take care of those boys, dude. And yeah, let's keep kicking butt in 2026, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. I'll be calling you in probably 2 or 3 days. Hey, I got another idea.
Heck yeah. Looking forward to it, man. Well, there you have it, guys. That was the first ever co hosted episode for Hunting the Frontlines and Praying and Slaying podcast. Man, I'm just so pumped for what the year is going to bring here for 2026 for both of these podcasts and the Prayin and Slayin Podcast Network and all the awesome things that Justin's doing. And if you are a Hunting the Frontlines listener right now, I just want to apologize for the delay in getting out an episode. We actually just had our second little boy here a couple weeks ago. So to say we've been busy and tired has been an understatement. So that is no fault of Justin's for not getting an episode out in January. That's 100% on me. But that's not that shouldn't be expected, and that's corrected now, and we're getting all the sleep deprivation out of the way. It's not out of the way; it's still going. But anyway, we're rocking with it, and we're getting these podcast episodes rolled out. And Justin has a heck of a lineup ready for you guys, already in the hopper, and I've got plenty of work to do to get those podcasts edited and launched out to you guys. And this is the one to kick it off for you. If you're praying and slaying, you obviously got the season kickoff episode. You've already got an Operation Hunt episode under the belt, so go listen to that if you haven't yet. And then this is just part of the Prayin and Slayin Podcast Network is getting everybody on, Justin, hopefully John eventually, and just having fun with each other and taking this journey together. And one of the things I do on the Prayin and Slayin Podcast is I like to close it out with a verse from the Bible that I can reflect on about something that was in this podcast. And the thing that I reflected on most with this was actually Justin's, fear of getting started. Him and I have been talking about that for a long time. Way back when we were both living in Montana. But I love that he finally took that leap and just got started. Because I think one of the biggest things in life is if you feel called to do something, there's an obligation to find a way to do it. Push through the fear, push through the uncertainty, and just take step number one. You don't have to have it all figured out today. The Prayin and Slayin podcast has evolved over the entire time that we've done this. I'm really enjoying the shape that it's taken now and the audience that we have and the stories that are getting told. And Justin's podcast has evolved as he's doing it, and he's getting into new exciting things like his Back to Basics episode and all that. And the verse that the story, I guess, from the Bible that I really reflect on with this is kind of the story of the talents, but specifically Matthew 25. 29, and it says, "To those who use well what they are given, even more will be given, and they will have abundance. But for those who do nothing, even what little they have will be taken away." I don't see that so much as a threat, but I see it as, we have a finite amount of time here on earth, and if you feel called to do something, there's a reason that's on your heart. And so if you never take the time to go do it, you're going to lose more than you ever realize you may have lost just trying to keep safe or play the safe card or whatever. But if you take that risk or you take that leap and you do the thing that's on your heart to go do, you're never going to regret it. And it's going to evolve into more than you could ever even have imagined. And that's exactly what's happened with the Prayin and Slayin podcast, with Light the Fire Outdoors, our other business. And this network the podcast turned into a network, and now you got Justin, and he's kicking butt. And we're going to be having some merch and all kinds of cool things coming out with that he's taking that next leap and diving into. So I couldn't be more proud of Justin and the work he did this year, and so excited to have you guys on here listening to this first ever co-hosted episode. We'll probably have a few more of these, probably a few each year. Pretty excited to be talking to both audiences right now, and you guys have a heck of a lineup coming up. So with that, guys, I will let you get back to it. Go do something nice for somebody today, and as always, keep praying and slaying.